So one thing about Sydney, it's got plenty of hills. They make it difficult for pedestrians. And they certainly make it difficult for residents. They make it hard to park. But other times they give you beautiful views. And sometimes they give you little thrills.
Whee!
All this talk of hills has got me thinking, I wonder where Sydney's steepest streets are located. A quick search of Google reveals this question has been asked before. So a couple of newspaper articles and also cycling groups talking about a dirty dozen of steep streets. So from the information that I discovered on Google from a number of sources, I've managed to come up with a list of 10 streets that are supposedly the steepest in Sydney. Now, right now on this list here, they're in no particular order, but I do have the gradient calculation for each of these streets now. So when I go out in the car later, I will rank them for you from least steepest to steepest. But just looking at the map, we can see that half of them are in Sydney's eastern suburbs, 3 in the northern beaches, 1 in the northwest, and 1 remaining street in the Sutherland Shire. So yeah, come get around Sydney's steepest streets with HW. Let's go. Hang on a sec. Just before we do that, let me show you the calculation or what they use to work out what the gradient or how steep these streets are. It's usually judged by its run. So in this example, it's 100 meters and how much it rises over that 100 meters, which in this case is 10 meters. So it becomes 10 over 100. So then the gradient is 10%. So yeah, let's get back to it. We're on Sydney's New South Head Road. And this is the beautiful view that it has over the harbour. This part of New South Head Road is known as Heartbreak Hill. There's Kincoppel Private School up on the top there. We're making our way down Heartbreak Hill in Sydney. Heartbreak Hill synonymous with the City to Surf fun run, which is one of the biggest fun runs in the world. Now, Heartbreak Hill itself, it doesn't even make it onto the list of steepest hills in Sydney. It's only at a gradient of 3 to 4%. But what makes it a heartbreak is that it's 3 to 4% gradient over 2 kilometres. It's a 2 kilometre rise down from Double Bay up to the top of Vaucluse that forms the most difficult part of Sydney's City to Surf fun run. This is where we begin our journey today to discover what is Sydney's steepest street. We start at Arden Street in Coogee, which extends on the both sides of Coogee Beach. So I can get out onto the middle. Now this is a pretty tame 15% gradient. Now I'm not sure what side of Arden Street contains the 15%, but it's either this side or the other side. Now I'm going to have to zap myself over to the other side of Arden Street. This is the other side of Arden Street, and back in the early 2000s, at this very point, I saw Russell Crowe on a mountain bike, and he'd just ridden all the way up Arden Street. He was in training for his role in Cinderella Man. So well done, Russell, for getting up this steep hill. This is definitely the steepest bit of Arden Street in my opinion. This is definitely where the 15% is. Here we go, this will give you an angle on the road. It's fairly steep. Here we are at number 9 on the list, Alexander Street, Coogee. And the gradient, 20.4. Makes you wonder, on a hill that's 20.4% gradient, how on earth do they park their cars there? This noisy plane passing overhead, apologies. Wanganui Road, Kirrawee in Sydney Sutherland Shire. Let's check it out. It's relatively steep. How steep is Wanganui Road in Kirrawee? Let's have a look in a second. I'll take the angle on this car down here. There we go. Just arrived at Alexander Street in Collaroy. I thought I'd film as I drove up this road because from here it just looks ridiculously steep. Car struggling to get up it. Wow, crazy steep. I have to try to find a place to turn around and get back down there and park somewhere. Come on. Oh, that's a pretty nice view from up here. Alexander Street, Collaroy. Wow. Now this is one steep street. I have to get out and film the angle again. Oh, here. I'll just park just here. So let's film this sucker. I use this car to get the angle. Yeah, look at that. Pretty steep. Might head up a bit further as well. Get another angle. Starting to get windy. We can use this house driveway to film the angle a bit as well. Yeah, this is a steep street. Number 6, Carrington Road, Coogee, another Coogee one. Now this one's starting to remind me a bit of the steep streets in San Francisco with the stairs and railings and that. So how steep is Carrington Road, Coogee? It's always good fun driving your car on this part of Carrington Road because it changes its gradient a number of times as you come down. Here we are at number 5 on the list, Atunga Street Double Bay, or some people say Atunga Street Wallara. Now, this used to be known as Sydney's Steepest Street on a number of publications, but it's since lost that crown to a few other streets that we're going to review today. It is a fairly long street, broken up into a couple of different parts, so it'll be interesting to see what the gradient calculation is. Drum roll, and the gradient is... So there you go, no longer number 1. Let's move on to the next street. Terrence Avenue, Denniston. See how steep it is from the bottom of the hill. Coming down in the car didn't do it justice. If I get down low, it'll show you how steep it is. I'll get a couple of angles up here. Boy, my legs are burning walking up this hill. It's a killer. Yeah, we'll use this car as another judge on the angle. Yeah, that'll give you an idea how steep it is. It's bloody steep. Oh shit, how am I going to walk down here without falling over? It's really slippery this morning with all the dew on the grass, and the road's wet as well. I better turn the camera off in case I slip over. Here we are at Wairara Avenue, North Manly, and I just drove up this street. Holy crap, it is so steep. There's no way they've got the gradient right on this one. I'll just walk down to this crest down here and you'll see how steep it is. Getting close to the crest down here now. You just wait and see how steep it is. It's crazy. Probably the video is not going to do it justice, but have a look down there. And they've got this railing here and stairs to get down the road because it's so steep. Shit, I almost tripped over then. I'm going to switch off here and get down to the bottom and then film backwards. Here's a good spot. This might show you a bit how steep it is. I'm dead set feeling this is steeper than some of the other streets that I've already filmed. That's for sure. Let me go up a bit higher up here and I'll try to film the angle for you. So steep. Crazy. I'm going to have to use these stairs to get back up the hill. these stairs are very handy. Try to get the angle of this street on these stairs. There you go, hopefully that shows it a bit. It's crazy steep. Yeah, so Waiwera Street, North Manly, getting steep. Here we are at Ahern Avenue, South Coogee. Now this street showed a lot of promise. Supposedly it was going to be Sydney's steepest street. But when I got here, even though this little bit at the start here was super steep, I didn't think it was long enough to actually apply a gradient to it fairly, because really the gradient should be an average over a fair distance. Can't really drop a gradient measurement on a little strip like here. And unfortunately, when I got up the top, even though Ahern Avenue extends around the corner there and up the road, some residents around here had stuck another street name on it, Bloomfield. So it's not really, I have to put a big red alert on this one. So even though it was so steep this little bit here that my car actually stalled, given that the road had been broken up and just the two different gradients, I didn't think it was fair that Ahern Avenue should become Sydney's steepest street. Now, I did have a gradient listed as 30.5, but I'm going to relegate it to second, and it'll be up to somebody else to confirm my findings. So, Ahern Avenue, fraud. Here we are on the corner of Awaba Street and Stanley Avenue in Mossman. We've filmed this area before. In the video I did, Sydney Rich Part 2. We actually filmed down this street, Awaba Street, down to Balmoral Beach down there. So every May, thousands of Sydney-siders come to Awaba Street to run what's called the Balmoral Burn, which starts right, I don't know whether you can see, right down the end of that street down there and finishes up here somewhere. It's a long run. This Awaba Street, average gradient. What do you reckon the average gradient of this is? I'll tell you what it is. Average gradient of over 30%. So yeah, Awaba Street. Really, if given the length of it, you could probably say this is Sydney's steepest street. So there you have it. The winner, Awaba Street, Balmoral, or Mossman, however you want to phrase it. You are the steepest street in Sydney. Congratulations.